Hello and welcome, this is rooflemonger. So for Mortal Kombat 11, a little while ago, we got a big balance patch that changed up a lot of what the game is and a lot of how the game works, to be sure, right? A lot of characters got buffed, a lot of characters got, tiny nerfs that maybe don't really matter that much in the end, right? But for sure, the game balance has changed, and I think most people would certainly agree for the better overall, to be certain. But with that said, there's always people that maybe, don't get everything they need. And that's what this video is about in the end, is what characters still need stuff. Now, there's a lot of characters I think could still use stuff. But when I say need, I mean need with like a capital N need. So like characters like Frost and Shao Kahn. Are these characters top tier? Certainly not. They got their buffs, and the buffs help out. They still are, not the best characters in the game, but they can use what they got to good effect, right? But then we have characters like Kano. The patch just buffed one of the variations, but didn't address any of his core issues, and he still languishes. And with that, that's what I want to go over here. So the characters I find that still need stuff, not want stuff, but need stuff to be playable, really, at any kind of real base level in Mortal Kombat 11 are Kano, Kotal Kahn, and I know I've gone to death over Kotal Kahn, bear with me folks here, Jade, Kitana, and Raiden. So let's talk about it. Now, of the characters I listed off, probably Jade is the one you probably might have raised your eyebrow at just a little bit. So let me explain. Do I think Jade is the worst character in the game or something like that? Absolutely not. But she does need stuff. So Jade serves basically one purpose in this game right now, and that's as a counterpick character. So she can counterpick some of the other zoners, and she has alright zoning-ish herself. But the real crux of the matter is, why play Jade when you could play Cetrion or Scarlet instead? That's kind of really the long and short of it. Jade, I guess, has the 4-2. That's a little bit more range than they have, but it's not like they have short range, especially Scarlet. Scarlet can pretty much match Jade on the range, right? On top of being a lot better up close and just being a better overall character. So Jade just kind of suffers from everything she wants to do. A lot of people do better. Once again, if you want to zone, there's better zoners. If you want to play footsies and you want to play neutral, other people do it and get a lot more damage than she does. And yes, she still has like really good stuff like back 3-4-3. That's really good, with the potential plus ender and all that kind of fun stuff. That's all well and good, right? But anything she wants to do, basically, unless you are attached to the character and you quite like the character, or you are picking her specifically as a counter matchup character, there's nothing she can do that other people just don't do better. There's nothing she does that, like, specifically, hey, I'm really good at doing this, and no one else is better at me doing this. Like, even air fireballs. If you want to throw air fireballs, unless you have infinite bar, pound for pound, you can go to Sub-Zero for that. You can go to Cabal for that, you can go to Collector for that. They can all do it pretty well too, right? That's probably her greatest strength, and it still exists in other characters, and those other characters definitely beat her on a lot of other fronts as well, right? So, while she's probably the strongest of the 5 characters I mentioned, I think she needs stuff just to help give her some identity. That and the most recent patch it did buff the pole stance variation. However, to basically what effect, really? The move still is very ho-hum. It doesn't have a lot going for it. And basically, the biggest thing Jade suffers from is just she has very little identity for herself that you just can't find somewhere better in another character. So for Kitana, one of the things to really knock against her, and it's not necessarily her fault or the game's fault, but she's not as interesting or dynamic as she was in her Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat X incarnations. And it's more to the point, in the Day 1 patch when the game came out, originally, she actually was closer to that, and actually kind of handicapped her a lot. And ever since she ate that handicap, she's just kind of There's nothing really else to really say about it. She's just like, once again, just like Jade, there ain't nothing she does that another character doesn't do better. And a lot of what she has, like, hey, does she have, mid-hitting combo starters? Sure, great. Maybe not as fast as some of the other characters, right? But she has them, right? And she also has, like, a litany of issues, like, when it comes to bugs. So, like, just to show you here, so I want to do, like, a back 1-4, and I'm going to go into razors, right? Okay. Alright. So what am I getting at? Well, I'm getting at is, hey, I was on player 1 side, right? Let's try this on player 2 side. Huh. Okay. Alright. Huh. So, she's like basically bugged. Like, that can't hit on player 2 side. It can hit on player 1 side, can't hit on player 2 side, and that's crazy. You can't get that chip a block on player 2 side when you get on player 1 side. And that's just like one issue of, you know, potentially many, right? But just to go show, she's not the character she could be, both because they kind of handicapped her when the game launched, and just issues and bugs like this. Kitana can definitely be a lot better, as we know, because they took it away from her, and she definitely needs to be better. So Raiden got stuff in the patch. However, it's all variation based on the Raiden competitive tournament variation. It does not affect any of his base level issues, really. Like, they did fix the bug where the lightning strike can miss, which is good. That's great. But I'm just talking stuff like, hey, back 1, 2, right? So back 1, 11 frame mid. You know, it's your combo starter thing, right? Just like any other character in the game. You know, 11 frames, which is nice. You know, it's not quite, you know, Jackie or Cassie good or Liu Kang good, but, you know, whatever. It works, right? Except for the part where if it gets blocked, you know, you didn't get your combo. What does that say right there? It says -9 on block. And what is -9 on block? It is punishable on block, is what it is. So, for the crime of just, you know, trying to get your basic hit confirm starter off, just like everyone else has, you're dead. You're gonna die. It's game over, because you get guaranteed punish. Now, can he get around this? Well, yeah, sorta. Like, he can teleport, cancel it, and then, you know, from far away, and then take half a defensive bar to make a basic hit confirm safe. Which, you know, is not a price anybody else in the game has to pay, right? And on top of that, you have to, like, dual layer hit confirm, like, okay, did it hit? Then I do my combo. Then if it didn't hit, then I do my thing. So you're already expending a lot more mental energy than anyone else would ever have to spend. Just for a basic 1-2 hit confirm starter, right? And then he has other hit confirm starters, and that's a great example right there. Forward 1. So forward 1 has hitbox issues. Like, yeah, it can hit, and you can hit confirm, and it is safe on block. But just sometimes, you know, like, hey, it goes over people's heads. Like, no real rhyme or reason. Like, see Devorah standing still? Went overhead, standing still. Went overhead. Oh, she blocked that time. I don't know. It just... You're literally just randomly hoping it hits, because every now and then it'll just go over someone's head, and you have no rhyme or reason for it. And, like, this is a basic building block. Like, once again, he has to be able to get combos, right? And he has to, like, either risk his life one way or another on moves that could potentially miss, or moves that are just unsafe on block no one has to deal with. And I think this alone says everything needs to say why Raiden is a character that still needs help. Oh, lordy, Kotal Kahn. What can I say about Kotal Kahn that I haven't belabored to death at this point? So, just in case you don't watch my previous videos, just as a quick rundown, Kotal has problems. I'm not going to go forever in this, but just basic stuff like, hey, you know, like back 2-2-3, you can punish him in the middle of it. Like, you can literally smack him out of it between the hits. You don't even need the flawless block or nothing. You just hit buttons. They tried to fix this by making it airborne, but now you can just down jab, then recombo in the air, meaning people who couldn't get a good punch on before now actually get better punches than they ever could before. So this quote-unquote buff is actually a nerf to the character. Oh my god. Oh, there's just so many things. Once again here, at the end of this video, I'll link my video complaining about Kotal Kahn's issues. It was a 10, you know, like a top 10 list, and they addressed exactly one issue of that, and everything else is basically the same or like that worse than it was before. They gave him more health, and more health is just an excuse to keep the character bad. That's all it is. Instead of giving the character more health, actually address his issues, actually make his stuff work, and that's all that needs to be said. Giving a character more health is a lazy band-aid that doesn't actually address a single thing. Kotal Kahn, I think unequivocally, is the worst character in the game. But for now, let's move to someone else that also needs a lot of help as well, Kano. So, Kano's a character, he got buffs in the patch, but the buffs are all variation-based. does not address a lot of his core issues as a character. And when I'm talking core issues as a character, like his strings are not amazing. Stuff like the back two, which is a mid, is death on block no matter how far away you hit it from, basically. And also just issues like this. So if you see I do the back two and you see the launch. Now, if the enemy, for whatever reason, was crouching, it doesn't launch him as high. So he can't even get a universal combo off this. So if you have a bread and butter combo mine off back two, and if they were crouching, like say you caught them, they're matching down one, like you backed up, they're matching down one, you caught them, that's great. Except for the fact now you can't get your combo because it doesn't launch universally. It launches at two different heights, whether or not they are ducking or whether or not they are standing. And those have different combos, and not to spoil anything, but the one where they're ducking, your combo opportunity is obviously much worse than it is if they are standing. Now, suffice to say, depending on the variation you are in, one's more pressure based, one's a little more combo based and has a command grab. The command grab, we've gone over in the past. That command grab variation is not that great. His command grab worse than most because it is a high, and yes, there are many other high command grabs, but just basic stuff like his quote-unquote mix of going 2-4 and then 1+3, which is a mid, or going 2-4 and then going into a command grab tick is completely fake, and you can easily get around it. So right now I am Devora, and I can't be hit by this. And why is that? As you can see here, he's going for stuff, and I'm just not getting hit. Like, am I some sort of god? Well, no, not really. It's very easy to deal with. You see, all you have to do is after he does the second hit, just when you're blocking, let go block, re-block. And when you let go block, the timing, well, if you went for command grab, hey, you're not holding block, then you don't get thrown. He whiffs, hey, cool, guaranteed D2, crushing blow, down punish, and you can do whatever you want, right? And if he went for the actual mid-hitting move, then when you hit block again, hey, you blocked it. Also, a lot of times you can flawless block it just like through the timing of it, right? And then that makes it punishable. So there's basically no real way Kano wins here. And this is like supposed to be a core thing of the character, and no matter what, he gets screwed over. So like Kano has so many highs, too many highs, in fact, really. Like, yeah, he's got a little bit of a low overhead mix to be sure, but it's not particularly devastating or particularly scary. Just a lot of what Kano is kind of half-baked, and he definitely, hopefully as you've seen in some of the stuff I've shown here, he needs help. So once again, overall here, as we're ending off the video, I think the game is indeed in a good place, alright? While there's still characters that have issues, obviously, as we went over, overall, I think the bulk of the roster is viable, and some characters that weren't viable before, like, Shao Kahn and Frost, well, I still don't think they're great. They're certainly better off than they were before, right? But obviously, there's still people stuck at the bottom of the barrel. There's still people that need help, and still people need to be brought up to the level everyone else at, and that's what this video is about, just to show you that the characters still have some issues. That said, obviously the balance patch we got is not going to be the only one forever, right? There'll be more in the future. When? I don't know. Maybe with the patch that has Terminator in October. I don't know when exactly. But there'll be more in the future, and I can only hope the characters who need more stuff get what they need. That said, that's the end of the video. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think there's another character that needs buffs? Once again, needs, not wants, because a lot of characters still want buffs, But if there's a character you still needs buffs, please let me know in the comments below. But that's it for the video for now. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Mortal Kombat.